From the Tickscape Studios, let's f***ing go.
Oh, it's like riding a bike. We are back after a little hiatus. Good to be back in the virtual studio for LFG. Look at Bisa. Bisa's pumped up as well. I'm excited about that. We've got the gang all back together. Dave Benz.
So did we do a face plant? Is that because that's what riding a bike's like? Because you do a face plant on the concrete. Is that what, or something else?
Who does a face plant on the concrete?
Wow.
What bikes are you riding?
Who does a face plant? What does the matter with you, son?
I mean, sometimes bike rides for people are different experiences. But yes, we are back.
Yeah, we are back. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I ever did a face plant on a bike. The worst thing I ever saw happen on a bike was probably when I was about 13. And Coz and Matt and Bisa, I'm wondering if you guys had similar experiences. You know, you're when you're young and you're brave and you're not, you don't feel vulnerable. You know, you set up little ramps in the road with the cinder blocks and the block of wood, and you go jumping off the ramp.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
I used to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that once. Like I was brave once. Banana seats. I was excited. Big handlebars. I had the jump set up. I got up in the air. Front tire came off the front. When I landed, hit myself in a very private setting. Very private setting. That hurt. I did not do it after that.
Hey, Matt, Coz is way overmodulated, so you gotta crank his mic down a little bit. That's not a good place to land, Coz. That's not a good place to land. There you go. Now you're better.
No.
Well, and see, one time, we had a four-wheeler that we had when I was about 12, and one time me and my brother thought it would be a good idea. I don't know who came up with this, but as we're coming down the hill, he said, "I'm going to kick this soccer ball at you, and you can see if you can avoid it on the quad or not." And so that happened, and I don't remember after that. I just remember waking up slowly, gently gliding down the hill, and I just put the brake on, and I think that was the only concussion that I ever had, and yeah.
Well, if it's
we never told Mom and Dad.
This isn't the way I envisioned the show starting after us being gone for 2 weeks, but this is kind of appropriate because this is what we do. I'm thinking about all the stupid stuff we did. I remember my buddy Nick Piccolo when we set up the ramp in the road, and he tried to jump it, and he ended up biting it. He went over the handlebars and broke his collarbone. Yeah. So that was not good. The dumbest thing, this is probably, I don't know if this is number one, but this is definitely top 5 dumbest things I've done in my entire life. I was about 12 or 13 years old. I lived in Syracuse, New York, and I lived in the city, and my street was 5 blocks long, I believe, and I was it was a straight up a hill on the 2 blocks on either side. And my block was the block that was at the top of the hill and was the only block that was flat. So on garbage day, me and my friends are outside, and somebody was throwing away a bowling ball. And
that's an odd thing to throw away.
Yeah,
what's up with that?
They had the bowling ball with the bag, the whole 9 yards, out at the front of the house, waiting for the trash to come pick it up.
I'd have nabbed it.
And at the bottom of my street, did the
guy have 8-pound balls? Did you call him up and say, "Did you have 8-pound balls?"
I don't know how many pounds they were.
Are your balls 12 pounds, sir?
They were.
Wasn't that the old joke when we used to do? Remember when we used to do phone pranks when you call up the bowling alley? "Hello, sir. Do you have 12-pound balls?" Did that?
Yes, we have 16 ones as well. At the bottom of my street, the bottom 2 blocks, it led out into a very busy street. So I lived on a street called Burns Avenue, and Burns Avenue went down at the bottom was James Street. And James Street was like, Emily would call it a high street. It was a busy street with a lot of commerce, right, and a lot of traffic on it.
Sure.
And we're dumb. We're like, it was me and like 4 of my childhood friends, and like probably between the ages of 11 and 13, right? And you're just sitting there like, so we see this bowling ball, and we think to ourselves, oh, wouldn't it be cool to just roll this bowling ball down the street? So we so we roll the bowling ball down the street for at the top of the hill, and it goes down 2 blocks, and this thing is like gathering steam, and it's bouncing, and it's like going down. And
man!
And this thing is going probably 20, 30 miles an hour by the time it's getting down to the bottom, and but there for the grace of God go I. Like I think that's the statement. I look back on it now, like how lucky I and my friends were that the ball, like, harmlessly went across the busy street and landed on the other side in a ditch. And, in that moment, like, I didn't even realize, like, how completely idiotic that was and the amount of harm that could have brought into somebody's life, and we didn't do it because we were trying to hurt somebody. We just thought, hey, it'd be cool to roll this bowling ball down the street because we're a couple of dumb kids, and thank God. I mean, seriously, like if that thing had hit somebody's car and they spin out and go into a pedestrian, like that could have ended really, really badly, and it could have forever changed the course of my life. So I'm so fortunate that thing just went across the street harmlessly.
Every other year that you hear a story of some idiots who are standing over an overpass throwing rocks down at cars. One goes in, kills somebody. Man, it is over at that. That could be a disaster. I got a similar story, less disastrous. I used to babysit a 3-year-old kid. He was a rambunctious little ne'er-do-well, but a fine young man. When he was 3, he got his mom's bowling ball. He lived on the 2nd floor. He was on the 2nd floor in his room. He used to go and sit out in front on the 2nd floor on the roof. He took a bowling ball and rolled it out of the window down the roof onto the front, like the walkway where you were coming up. Luckily, no one was coming up the walkway, but the kid just wanted to see what would happen. Rolled his mom's bowling ball down the roof.
Yeah, it's like, I think everybody wants to do it because remember David Letterman when he had the late night show, and not late show, but when he was on NBC
when he was
late
funny.
night, and they would go throw stuff off the the side of Rockefeller Center, and then they would clear the walkways.
Oh yeah. They started with simple stuff like watermelons and then it would get pretty elaborate. It would get pretty crazy, some of the stuff they would throw.
I don't know if they ever threw bowling balls, but perhaps that was one of the things they might have thrown. But I'm thinking a bowling ball might bounce. That would it break, or would it bounce from, like, how high is Rockefeller Plaza? Like, 80 floors? Would it break or would it bounce?
If it goes just on concrete, I think it would break. I mean, the force and how heavy a bowling ball is, I would think it would break.
I would think it would break the ground too. That ground would probably get a pretty good indentation in it.
Yeah. Now, see, I have the one where it inconvenienced the most people. When I was really young, I'm gonna say that I did this for attention when I was 3, although I don't remember it. I've been told. We were in a hotel in the Bay Area, and my dad was getting an award for his business, and there was this whole banquet, and they were going to honor him, and it was this like black tie thing, and so we're in the hotel apparently before this, and my brother is 4, I'm 3, and so my mom is making sure that we don't kill ourselves, and she's running around and trying to get ready and everything, and she set her curling iron, which she was using, on the counter, and then she went to go take care of my brother, and I thought that it looked really cool because it was glowing, and so I crawled in to the bathroom and pulled on the cord, and then the curling iron came down and burned me on the neck. And so Mom and Dad didn't get to go to their banquet with their fancy tuxedos and dress. They had to go to the emergency room. And so they had to make an announcement. They said, well, Terry was going to be here to accept this award tonight, but apparently there was some emergency, and they're down at SF General. And so there was a bunch of people in tuxedos that came to the emergency room to make sure I was okay.
Yeah. So we've all
Yikes.
done stupid. I'm just gonna say we've all done stupid shit. We know it. Anyway,
Yep.
so let's get to our return here, guys. I'm not gonna get into any details, but as of today, we have a new phone number for the show: 620-262-9548. Matt, was that the best you could come up with? That has no flow whatsoever. Does that spell anything?
No, it does not. That was okay. You know what? I'll be honest. That was not the best I could come up with, but I got it because I was doing a bunch of stuff yesterday, and that was on my list of stuff to do. So you know what? It works, or at least I hope it does.
That may be the phone number only for today, unless we can figure out if that spells something. But I think we need a Coach. Are you coming up with something, Coach? Are you looking up what it could spell?
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with. That'd be a great mind game, like to take the last four, come up with a really good. But the other bit could be we could just change the number every day and come up with something new and see what's working.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it have LF in it at some point? Like maybe it could be.
It should be
whatever the
call
number is.
LFG. What would call LFG have to be for a phone number?
You know what? Let me get to my handy dialing system.
That'd be
that would be
2255
2255 534.
2255-534. Matt, write that down.
Yeah.
2255-534. You got to find a number that has that.
Okay.
All right.
I will. I'll do it.
I don't care what the area code is. As long as it's
I don't
something,
care.
call LFG. We'll be good to go.
Well, so
You can do
Dave,
888.
All right. So let me move this along here, Dave. What have you been doing over the last 2 weeks that we've been off? What have you been doing, my friend?
What have I been doing the last 2 weeks? I'm trying to see. Let's see. Here we go. I'll give you a. I was at the primarily. I was at the 2024 Minto U.S. Open Pickleball Championships. I was down in Florida. The lovely Miss Emily met me from Florida. She flew over from England, and we flew into Miami, and then we went over to Naples, and we were in Naples for a week. Saw some of the most unbelievable sunsets that I've seen. I mean, every night that I went to the beach, the sunset was absolutely pristine. Even the one day that it was like cloudy a little bit, at the very tail end when the sun got to the horizon and it was, the money shot, the sun came out from under the clouds and you still saw the sunset go over the horizon. It was absolutely gorgeous. The weather could not have been better. It was in the mid to low 80s, not that humid, no rain. The beach on Sunday, I went back to South Beach on Sunday before flying out, and the water was bath temperature. It was in the ocean. It was absolutely amazing.
Love it. I love warm ocean water. Love it.
It was fantastic. And what I noticed? I did a little back float in the Atlantic Ocean, and I did notice like the little bit of the difference, because I always feel like whenever I try to do a back float in a pool, your feet always kind of sink. And when I was back floating in the ocean, man, it was like no problem. My feet stayed nice and buoyant because that salt water has a little bit more density to it, so it holds you up a little bit better. So anyway, that was what I did. The U.S. Open was fantastic. Another record-setting event. They had over $150,000 in prize money, 3,200 plus players, nearly 5,500 matches. Annalie Waters, who's the number one ranked female player on the planet and would be a top 10 men's player if she was playing amongst.
You think so?
She would. Coach, she's that good. She is that good.
That's interesting. Wow.
I mean, I was talking to my analyst about it off the air, and he's like, she might be top 5. Like, we were struggling to come up with 5 players that are on the men's tour that are definitively better than her. There's nothing she can't do.
Really?
There's nothing she can't do. She's got the finesse, the control. She's got the power. Her two-handed backhand is just, you don't want to hit it to her on a backhand because her two-handed backhand is just ridiculous. She's so fun to watch. And so she played in the U.S. Open with her mother And it meant so much to her. She had it written into her contract. So last year, there weren't really any PPA players in the tournament. Because the PPA, like everything in this world, there were politics that kind of got brought into the whole pickleball, the pickleball universe when the money started flowing in, and there was a divide. And the PPA, they tried to buy the U.S. Open, and the people who own the U.S. Open told them, no, it's not for sale. And the PPA tried to strong-arm the U.S. Open and said, well, if you don't sell it to us, we're not going to allow our pros to come play in the tournament, which was a big deal because this tournament is kind of, to a lot of people, the birthplace of pickleball as we know it today. The sport's been around for a long time, but the U.S. Open in 2016 was really the launching point for the sport getting to where it is today. There were no pro tours when the U.S. Open was started. There were no big tournaments. There weren't, it was kind of still a smaller thing, and this is what launched it. And so a lot of people have connections to Naples and have connections to that tournament, and they want to go back and play it. It truly is a U.S. Open, just like the golf tournament would be, where anybody can go play and qualify, and there's different levels. And so anyway, the PPA said, no, we're not going to let our pros play. You're under contract with us. Well, Annalee Waters, and not everybody on the PPA can do this because not everybody is Annalee Waters, but Annalee Waters, she was signing a new deal with the PPA during this past offseason, and she had it written in. She had it literally written in, and somebody told me that it was handwritten in, but I don't know. I can't confirm that. But she had it written into her deal. I am allowed to participate in the U.S. Open, and the PPA was like,
is Naples her base?
Delray Beach. So they're over on the East Coast.
Delray Beach.
Yeah, Delray Beach.
Okay.
But yeah, so she grew up in.
I didn't know if that's another thing where just geographically. Open is there. I want to be with the best. I want to build that brand, and I'm here. It's easier. It's one thing if she lives in Seattle, Washington, has to fly, across the country. But if it's in her neighborhood, I could see where she wants to be a part of that big.
Well, and Coach, she played in that event when she was 12 years old. Was the first time she played in it. She played with her grandfather. And so, she's got a special place sentimentally for that. She played with her mom. And then the first time she ever played on a live television broadcast, I actually did the play-by-play. When she was 12, she played with Sobek, with William Sobek, who's also his father, Rusty, was a pro. So William Sobek was 13 and Annalee was 12, and they were playing in the 5-0 bracket of mixed doubles, and they ended up winning on championship court against, somebody that was like in their 30s and somebody in their 40s, and they crushed them. And I got to call the play-by-play of that. So it was a big deal to have Annalee there, and hopefully that's going to open the floodgates for the rest of the pros to be able to get back to it, because it's just such a great event. And they're talking about expanding. They got 60 courts down there during the tournament. They have 64 when the tournament's not going on. They have to put some of the temporary bleachers over a couple of the courts to create the championship court they use now. But they're actually talking about constructing a permanent championship court that would have permanent bleachers to hold around 3,000 people. And they sell out the tickets. It was standing room only Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock, Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. It was standing room only every day.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's great that it's growing the way it is. Did you bring me or free balls or anything?
No, but I did.
Goggles.
I did snag three. Franklin X40 balls at the end of the tournament that were hanging out. And I did bring back.
Game used? Were they game used?
They may have been game used. I don't know. They were in the officials. They were in the little bucket where the official had them. So, they either were game used or they were about to be game used. So I snagged those at the end of the night. And then I did come home with 2 new paddles. I came home with.
Whoa!
Yeah, hold on. I'll stand by. They're like 2 feet from me.
Dude, you got to send me. Let me handle this right now. You go get that. So here's the deal. He's over there working an event, and so he gets all this free swag. These paddles are just plus per paddle. So you've got to have some. You've got to have some extra paddles over there that you could send to me. I'll pay shipping, but you got to send me some. Maybe extra control paddle that you might have.
Okay, so Coz, this one I'm showing right now in the live stream. This is the Engage. So the guy who owns Engage was my first color analyst in 2016 when we did the U.S. Open. Rob Elliott, he and his wife Jody, and their son Josh is a player.
Engage.
And so this is their newest version, because I told Rob when I saw him there, I said, I've still got the first initial version from the U.S. Open. He goes, he goes, come by the booth. I'll get you the newest one. So he gave me this. I haven't looked up the price, so I'm going to guess this is probably about a $300 paddle. I'm going to guess.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
And then,
that makes sense.
And then I came home with this one. Now, this one is my buddy Ray Koliakovo, who's the executive producer for the U.S. Open coverage and has been from the onset. He got smart. He started a company called Pickle TV. It's a pickleball channel, and it's on Roku and Fire Stick and all the other, Amazon. So it's a streaming platform. And he now has got into the paddle business. He has created his own pickleball paddle, and it's called Ninja, and the Ninja logo is from his son's lacrosse team that he coached. That was their son's lacrosse logo, so they've used the logo now, and so this is the Ninja paddle, and so he hasn't gone into selling these yet. He was handing these out to some of the pros. He wants them to try them, and he also brought a number to get them certified by the U.S. APA. I didn't. He didn't tell me. I'm assuming that got taken care of. So anyway, so he's got his paddle. So I have 2 new paddles to go try out when I.
Is that a control paddle or a power paddle?
No, it's a control paddle. But it does have. It says he used a little bit more length on the handle to be able to get a little bit more power. But it's got the maximum grit you can have. It's to be able to have the control. It's got maximum grit.
Nice.
So anyway, we're gonna go. My son and I are gonna go try those out. But in the vendor booth at the U.S. Open, by the way, it used to be one little small tent, and now it's 2 big tents, and there's still like some excess flow over area from the tent area where people are setting up their own little small tents.
Bank. Yeah, I would imagine they make major bank by renting out those areas underneath the tents. And I'm telling you, next year there'll be a 3rd tent. If there's space, they will have a 4th tent. I am telling you, fast-growing area sports. Just equipment, sports equipment. I mean, how many different paddles are there? Goggles, different balls. Is there an official – what's the official ball of the U.S. Open?
It's the Franklin X40. Which
Franklin X40?
Yeah, which my buddy Ray, who plays more than I do. Ray is probably a 5.0. He plays a lot. The guy who is designing that paddle. He told me that
I'm a 3.
He doesn't like he doesn't really like the Franklin X40 personally. He feels like it kind of is like he said and he told me the pros don't really like it either because it's kind of more forgiving. Like the ball's duller. It doesn't have as much bounce to it, so it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. And the pros want, they like the what are some of the other ones? I forget. I should know. The Durafast. The pros like the Durafast, I've been told.
Oh, that's interesting. Is there a Selkirk all-weather ball? We use a little bit of the Selkirk all-weather ball because I play sometimes when it's in the 20s or 30s degrees. I'm outdoor playing, so we'll use that all-weather ball that doesn't break. If we use the ball for our local league here, we'll crack those bad boys when it's beneath 40 degrees. We cracked one this morning. We cracked one of those today.
Yeah, well, in Naples, they're not worried about that. They're not worried about that.
No, they're not. They're not worried about outdoor playing at 26 degrees.
You know what? It sounds like you guys had a much more productive 2 weeks than I did. You know what I did for 2 weeks?
What did you do for 2 weeks, Matt?
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers.
Oh, no.
5 beers.
Oh,
6 beers. 7 beers. 8 beers. 9 beers. And a Bloody Mary.
I wouldn't doubt that you drank that many beers, Matt. I've seen you in action. I have seen you in action pounding down some beers. But yeah.
I would miss that from the little fella.
Drink responsibly.
Wow.
No, it was a good 2 weeks off. We all definitely needed it. But you know what? Dave, we're 26 minutes into the show, and we haven't actually talked any sports.
We will. We'll get to some sports.
Wait
a minute. What's pickleball?
Yeah, well,
What's
yeah,
pickleball?
yeah, exactly. What is
Pickleball's
pickleball?
a sport.
Pickleball.
Okay, fine. You're right. We talked pickleball and how we almost.
We take 2 weeks off. Yeah, we lead the show with pickleball.
Yes.
Or we led the show with something else, and then we dove into pickleball next.
That's what we do.
Yes.
That's how we do it here on LFG. It is No Rules Radio. We talk about what we want to talk about. All right, so here's what I think we're going to do. By the way, Matt, you just made me realize, is Wrestlemania on your list?
Absolutely.
Okay,
WrestleMania is on my list.
so what we did was on our morning call today, we decided that we would have Matt go through and put together a list of all the things that happened during the 2 weeks that we were off. So we're going to go through Matt's list and have some thoughts. And so WrestleMania is a big one because we were really blowing up our group chat during WrestleMania. And another big one is there's been some news on the Shohei story, so we need to get to that. And I think Cozy's favorite player on the planet is Caitlin Clark because he brought her up right away on the call this morning.
That was the first thing I wanted to talk about. Are you kidding me? That was top drawer.
Did you guys see the and we'll get into it, but did you guys see the awkward interaction between her and the reporter at the press conference?
I saw a headline about it, but I didn't watch it.
It was.
I would read the encounter, but I did not see nor hear it in the way it was spoken. So if we could get that interesting.
I'll find it. I'll find it. It's,
okay.
The reporter was trying to welcome Caitlin Clark to Indiana, and apparently this guy is just known to be quirky, and he said something, and it just was a little bit of an awkward interaction he had to write an apology with it, and it was justifiably awkward. Like they aren't blowing it out of proportion. It kind of was.
All right. Well, let's save that, Matt. You can give us the details on the other side of the break. Why is my music not playing? Oh, I don't have the channel turned on. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. All right. Let's start that over. All right. So we're going to take a time out. We'll have a Matt Fowler sports update coming up, and we will I'll figure out how to roll in some commercials here to give us a little breather. And when we come back, we'll get Matt's sports update, and then we'll dive into some of these topics. You're listening to the Tuesday. Feels like Monday. The Tuesday, but it feels like Monday edition of LFG.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Giant Foam Finger Maker.
Mr. Giant Foam Finger Maker.
Without you, our teams would be in 6th or 7th place and feel as if they were in 6th or 7th place.
Can you feel it?
Carefully, you craft uncanny representations of actual human hands so that we may wave them annoyingly in the faces of our rivals.
In your face.
They're enormous, yes, yet one size fits all. Brilliant.
Raise them to the sky now.
So crack open a nice cold Bud Light, Mr. Foam Finger Maker, and know we speak for sports fans everywhere when we say, no, you're number one.
Giant Foam Finger Maker.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
I had a good job until my boss accused me of stealing. I better call Saul. I was out partying, minding my own business.
You are under arrest.
I'd better call Saul.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent. And that's why I fight for you, Albuquerque.
Better call Saul.
About COVID. By simply getting COVID, you're guaranteed a 5 and sometimes even 10-day vacation from all of life's problems.
I needed a break.
Matt, I'll
Just
bring
some
us back
time
after
away from
this.
everyone. So my doctor suggested I get COVID.
Sweet.
And it was the greatest week of my life.
All I wanted was to sit on the good part of the couch and watch the Netflix I want to watch. And I was finally able to, thanks to COVID.
At first, I was worried about getting COVID, but my doctor assured me it's fine now. I'm triple vaxxed, quadruple if you count HPV. So it's my time to shine.
Side effects of COVID include having COVID, which is still kind of bad, but doesn't it seem different now?
I definitely got sick. But I also got paid for 10 days to never leave a blanket. Plus, I got a great story I could tell people at work. It was like I had a bad cold for 3 days.
And of course, I had to isolate from my 3 kids because I didn't want to get them sick.
But, what do they eat?
I gave it 14 days to be extra safe.
And for an extra fee, we'll knock out the Wi-Fi near your house so you can't do any Zooms.
Oh, well, too bad.
COVID is the perfect way to get out of jury duty, cousin's wedding, friend's improv show, neighbor's adult baptism, and husband's murder trial. At this point, COVID is basically a 10-day cruise, which is also a great way to get COVID.
COVID isn't for everyone. That's why there's also new COVID Always Positive Home Test. The only COVID test that comes with 2 pink lines already drawn on.
Let me go try to fix it.
Okay.
But you just had it a week ago.
Please don't do this to me.
COVID. Because sometimes the
Might
only way
hang
to
up
get
and come
mentally
back.
healthy is
Okay.
to get physically sick.
And
Matt,
sure,
I'll
there
roll
might
one
be
more and
long-term
then one
memory
more short
problems, but that would
commercial and
honestly
then
be amazing,
and then you
'cause
roll
there's
the
so much I
sports
wanna
update.
forget.
My brain's already really bad. If it gets 10% worse, but I don't have to talk to a single person for a week, I'll take that deal in a horse beat.
You mean a heartbeat.
Either way, thanks, COVID.
Thanks, COVID.
Thanks, Bovid.
I think I'll get COVID again. Today.
COVID. Go ahead. You deserve a break.
Yes. Lightning McQueen here, and I use Rusty's medicated bump ointment, new rear end formula. Nothing sues a rusty bumper like Rusty's. Wow, look at that shine. Use Rusty's, and you too can look like me. Ka-chow!
It's the bottom of the hour, or close enough. Time for your Tickscape Studios Sports Update with Matt Fowler.
Caitlin Clark appears to be on the verge of setting another record, the most prolific scorer in NCAA history, and the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft for the Indiana Fever will continue her ascension to the top with a $28 million contract that includes 8 years and a signature shoe with Nike. Clark's initial name likeness deal that she signed in 2022 expired at the end of the 2023-2024 college season. For all of your news, updates, and outtakes, tune in to LFG with Dave Benz, Jim Cosmore, and myself right now.
What was that laugh?
I don't know. I feel very evil this
That
morning.
was like a Dr.
$1 million.
Yeah, that was like a Dr. Evil laugh there. I'm not sure what you were going for there. Okay. All right, Matt. Were you sure you weren't just drinking beer during the break?
I was not. I realized that I needed to come up with a different tag for my for the end there.
So your tag is you're going to do a Dr. Evil laugh.
Well, that was the first one. It's a work in progress, okay? We've been off for 2 weeks. Give me a break.
All right. Anyway, the Tuesday edition, we're glad to be back on the air as we roll through. And so during the time we were out, there were a couple of things that transpired, more than a couple. There were a lot of things that transpired. So, Matt Fowler, we asked you to put together a list of what you thought were the most, the most eye-opening stories that happened during the time we were away, and you're going to go through it. So, and we're going to give our thoughts. What What is at the top of your list? Well, Coach just left, so you and I will just go through it until he's back in.
Coach is just like, no, I'm out of here. Screw this. I'm not doing it. I think that, well, the first thing that happened, the immediate thing that happened is the national championship happened between UConn and Purdue. And UConn handled Purdue just about as well as we would have expected them to. And that was the most immediate thing that happened. Any thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are that I was truly surprised at how easily UConn dominated things. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous that Purdue didn't put up much of a fight. Zach Edey, in my mind, Zach Edey got exposed. I didn't think he played all that well in the semifinal either. I thought that Zach Edey, I don't know. He does not. I was not impressed. As Jim Kozimor now rejoins us, and hopefully with a better little better.
Doesn't look like it.
No. Hey Matt.
Doesn't look like it.
Matt, he's still super hot though. Matt, can you turn him down, or do you have him down all the way?
Got it.
At least if he's not overmodulated, it's fine.
How's that? Is that a little better?
Yeah, that does look better. It looks a lot better for sure. So, Coach, we're talking about the Matt says his top story, unless he's just going in chronological order while we were away. UConn winning the national championship. I just thought more than anything, I mean, they were a buzzsaw. I did hear a snippet from Danny Hurley talking on JJ Redick's podcast about how they actually studied football plays during last offseason after they won the national championship and thought, is there anything we can take from this that we can incorporate into our game? And Matt Fowler's ears are going to perk up because he especially mentioned Kyle Shanahan and how Shanahan can run so many different things out of a same formation, and that he wanted to be able to adapt that into his offense, and it was something they worked on during this offseason. And you know, I didn't watch enough UConn to know exactly what they did differently this year from last year, but I know that they were a buzzsaw, and I was genuinely shocked how easily they handled Purdue in the championship game.
Yeah, they did that. They lost games in the regular season. They were a dominant force, and it's interesting to hear that they looked at some football stuff. I've interviewed different coaches in different sports and asked them if they take things from others. So Dusty Baker is someone who's from Sacramento, great major league manager, eventually wins a World Series with Houston, will probably go into the Hall of Fame for his managerial exploits. I know Giants fans are a little unhappy with what happened in that Angels series. Sorry to bring it up. But he was at a Kings game once, and I was doing the sidelines, and I asked him about it, and I said, do you ever watch other games and see how it could equate to what you do in baseball? He said, absolutely. Take this game, for instance. There are coaches who will take second timeout because they don't need the full timeout to explain everything. They just need to slow the pace down a little bit and remind things and let them get back to what they were doing. He said, in my business, that went out and talking to the pitcher. That's not making a pitching change. That's not changing everything we do defensively. It's having my pitching walk out, just slow the game down for a moment and come on back. Nothing huge changes. But he said, my 20-second time, talk to the...
We lost the tail end of what you said, Coase.
No, I thought that was interesting. I just thought it was interesting that different sports, managers, coaches, utilize scenarios from others in order to try and improve what they do. So you can learn from another game and make it fit into what you're trying to do.
Well, and it's interesting, right? Because just because these coaches are specialized in the area in which they're coaching doesn't mean they have blinders on and they don't know anything about what's going on in other sports. I mean, you'd have to be kind of an idiot not to be paying attention to what's going on in other sports and try to find a way to gain an advantage from that. And I'll give you a case in point. I'm doing a San Jose State women's softball game this coming weekend, Coase. Guess who my softball color analyst is going to be?
Boy, it is going to be Major League Baseball player, the guy who was a great right-handed hitter, and now he's a Giants coach.
No, I'm just going to tell you because you'll never get it.
Yeah,
you'll never get it.
Who
They're
is
using Ben Braun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Apparently, Ben reached
Former
out.
Cal Bear head basketball coach.
Yes. Apparently, Ben reached out. He's a big baseball fan, and I don't know if he has a family member that has played softball, but apparently he knows softball, and he wants to give it a try. So, the person making the decisions at San Jose State told me that information yesterday, and I was like, is it April Fool's Day? Like, are you kidding? He's like, no. He's like, Ben wants to do it. He's like, he's available. He's good on air, and he wants to do it. I'm like, okay, good by me. Let's do it. So, it's not like I'm some kind of softball savant. So we'll make it work.
I love women's softball. I love women's fast softball. College women's softball is one of the most fun events to watch. Every year, gear up for the Women's College World Series. Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I will watch that as much as anything.
So the tape, but let's get real quick. Finish off this topic about the NCAA championship. Overall, your thoughts on anything related to the tournament? What stood out to you the most with the men's tournament this year?
What stood out to me is that I was in two pools and I won one and I came in second in the other. So I was very happy with UConn winning. I won the second one. Had I picked UConn in that one, that was my fun. The second one was my fun bracket. I was just picking teams because I had an attachment to them. If Tennessee, I had them going deep. I had Purdue going deep because one of my daughters had applied to Purdue. Things like that. So that was more of a fun bracket. But if I had picked Connecticut, I would have won both brackets. So that's what stands out to me is that I dominated this year's NCAA pools. You're welcome.
That reminds me. I never did go back and check how our collective bracket did. So So I am pulling it up right now. We did correctly pick UConn as the national champion, and
we have a chance then.
We finished. I don't know how many people were in it, but we finished. We finished in the top 1 million, so I'm gonna take that as a win. We finished at 698,437th place.
Wow!
All right,
697. All right.
Yeah.
Top 700,000 people. Top 700,000 answers are up on the board, and we're one of them.
That's gonna be written on my tombstone.
6'9". Maybe that should be our phone number. We're digit short. 698-437.
That's not a bad call.
698-437. By the way, somebody named Brian Dogg won the championship for CBS Sports. That's where we did our bracket. He had the Final Four exactly right. UConn, Alabama, Purdue, NC State. Had UConn, Purdue in the national championship game, obviously, with UConn. This guy, there's not a lot of red on this guy's bracket. He lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in the first round.
That's a lot of first-round losses.
But he had 10 first-round losses, but he was unbeaten in the second round. He won. He got every second-round matchup right, which is unbelievable.
I just think it's funny that Jim goes, hey, you know what? 10 is a lot of losses. I mean, look at us. We're top 700K people. I mean, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah. All right. So
I don't know how you come back from that.
Yeah, I don't know how you come back from that either. I'm not gonna sleep tonight knowing we didn't finish in top 600,000. All right. So let's close the door on the NCAA tournament. By the way, Zach Edey, Coz, not sure. I was much higher on him and his NBA potential prior to the Final Four. I didn't think he was. He'll have a place in the NBA. There's no doubt. I don't think he's going to be a centerpiece of a team in the NBA.
No, the game's changed. You don't have big, dominant 7'4" guys running around anymore. You don't lob it into the post like you did with Pat King or Akeem Olajuwon and let him go to work. And that's what Purdue could do. And he was a great outlet at if ever the guard set was double teamed, killed their drill, they could just throw it up high. 7'4" guy, and when he found that there was another 7'2" guy standing in his way, life wasn't as easy. In the NBA, he will have a place, but it's going to be a part-timer. It's just the way the game has matured, and I don't always think it's a good thing, but it's the way the game has been matured. It does value large players are playing balls into the post. And I sometimes wonder if they should change the NBA game and make it more like the international game with the trapezoid lane and things like that. That would open up play and make things different.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that more as we go on, because I'm sure later this week we'll get more into the NBA. In fact, tomorrow is Wednesday, so we'll get our hump day handles, and I'll see who I can dig up for a guest for that tomorrow. Some great NBA games last night, but I want to continue with our theme today of going through the stories. Yes. And Matt Fowler, I was surprised, honestly, that you didn't pick Wrestlemania as your first choice for something that we would want to talk about.
Well, I just I had the news and the recency bias, and we went off the air right before the national championship, so that's why I said that. But yes, WrestleMania was epic, and it was funny because I knew it was going to be
phenomenal.
Epic. And Dave, you were blowing up the chat. You're like, wait a minute, they got 70,000 people in Philadelphia to come to 2 nights.
2 nights in a row.
Like you were surprised by that, and I'm just like, dude, you don't even, I mean, you need to dig into the archives of wrestling, and WrestleMania is always phenomenal.
I mean, I didn't see much of it was Saturday, Sunday, right? I didn't see much of the Saturday one when The Rock actually fought. But Sunday, I watched it pretty much from start to finish. And at the very end, in the finale, when John Cena came out, and then The Rock came out, and then The Undertaker came out, I was just like, it was so good. I actually went into my son's room. He was on, his computer playing whatever game it is he's into right now. And I was like, you got to come see this. Like, The Rock is about to fight John Cena. And my son actually, he knew who that was. And so he came out and he watched it. It was such good theater. It was so well produced. Unless you're living under a rock, you know that it is all, let's use the word fake, although I think that's a little bit inappropriate. It's a show.
Scripted.
It is a show. It is scripted. It is a show. But much like
it is not fake.
Yeah, and much like an NFL offense, let's go back to the Kyle Shanahan thing. Like they have variations that they can do. They do call audibles during the script of the routine where they'll whisper to each other like, hey, let's do this or whatever, because they know it and they've rehearsed the moves, but they'll do little variations here and there and kind of feel it off the crowd. So it's not like it's a rigid script. It is an actual living, breathing thing that happens. And to see the athleticism on display, and a lot of people are like, oh, they're a bunch of roid freaks. I mean, I'm sure that steroids are being used. I don't think there's any question. But who cares? Like, they're putting on an amazing show, and it was such good theater. I was really impressed.
Yeah,
Well,
I was riveted. I was riveted.
Yeah, and Dave, the thing is, and this is not a knock on wrestling, it just is the reality of the situation. I mentioned it when Drew Goldfarb was on with us about 3 weeks ago. One of the things that you can watch to kind of catch you up on a lot of this, and it's also just kind of gives you behind the scenes look at the business, is Dark Side of the Ring. It's on the Vice Network, and it kind of tells the stories of a lot of these people that you've heard, Hulk Hogan and the thing that the tragedy that happened with Owen Hart and Chris Benoit and all these different things that you might have heard in the mainstream news, but you didn't really pay attention because it's wrestling, and that's why I think why wrestling gets a lot of a bad rap.
The Benoit stuff was terrible. Yeah, they really do promote the awful happens, and there are a number of wrestling athletes who do have very sad. But they tend to get, promoted far more than anything else. That Benoit thing was horribly sad, horribly sick and sad.
So wait, I don't know. So
a lot
for
of tough
those of us who
stories.
don't know that story, what was the story?
Well, the story.
Matt, yeah,
Coach, you want to jump in? Yeah. So the
yeah,
Benoit story.
yeah. He was a great athlete. He was a really, really great wrestling athlete. But then things just.
Yeah. So what happened was Dave, Chris Benoit was a really great wrestler for a long time, and he never really got what they call over in terms of he never really got a chance to become the champion until WrestleMania 20, which at that point was, and WrestleMania 20 still is my favorite individual wrestling show. I mean, that was one of the most epic things. I was 12 years old. And so Chris Benoit was in the main event, wins the title. Everything's going well. And then, so 3 years later, he missed a show. And it's not like him to miss a show. And so they did a welfare check. Long story short, it ended up they found his whole family and him dead in their home. And it turns out that he killed them and then killed himself.
What? How many years ago was this?
2007.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, I don't mean to jump into, serious conversation here, but yeah, and of course they ran with that in the mainstream media and just basically took that opportunity to take a shot at how terrible of a sport wrestling is, and that's not fair. And so basically they attributed it to roid rage. And they did find an insane amount of testosterone in his system, like 10 times the regular amount of a regular person. So it probably was roid rage, but there's plenty of guys that take steroids in wrestling and in other sports for that matter that don't end up committing triple murder. So it's not.
Yeah, I might vaguely remember this story from when it happened 17 years ago. Because it made big headlines, right? It was a big deal. But I as a non-wrestling aficionado, not that I'm anti-wrestling, it never really moved the needle for me one way or the other. But yeah, that's just not cool. And at the end of the day, I don't know about you guys, but there are a lot of human growth hormone, whatever you substances you want to talk about, that can promote overall good health. And the reason they're looked down upon with the traditional sports is because they give these athletes an edge, and it's not fair to the sport overall, and they feel like it's they don't want to just be like, oh, everybody needs to take this to be able to excel. But as an everyday human being, if you are somebody who works out and likes to be fit and you want to be able to have muscle recovery and muscle growth, and you could take something that might be outlawed by a sport but is not really going to significantly affect your health, or and it's been tested, like, why would you not take that? And I know that this is an outlier with this horrific tragedy, but overall, I think anything that is going to slow down the aging process, help us to be able to live healthy lives, I'm all for it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just to kind of, sorry, Coz, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, to bring it back into a little bit of a less tragic area of the conversation here. I mean, another big steroid scandal that didn't involve anything, serious or violent was the fact that obviously, even being not a wrestling aficionado, Dave, Hulk Hogan is the biggest name in wrestling forever. And he took steroids, and it was this big deal because Hulk Hogan was always with the kids, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. And then it came out that, he, among others, had taken steroids. And there was this whole trial with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon could have possibly gone to jail for breaking all these laws. And Hulk Hogan actually testified against him. And it's just steroids are, especially for something like wrestling. I agree with you, Dave. If you're just trying to be a healthy person and you're not a professional athlete, I don't really see anything wrong with a lot of these human growth hormones. But when you,
mark this part of the podcast at drugs. Go.
Oh, shut up, Jim.
I don't know if you guys know. I've been dealing with a shoulder issue since October, and Emily told me that there's this thing in London that is. I think you can get it in the States, but it's not FDA approved. It's like BCP 157 or something. It's a peptide. And I was talking to somebody down in Florida while I was there, and he's involved with personal training and all that. He's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "You got to do that." He's like, that'll bounce you back in no time. And
was the guy flipping a quarter and had a toothpick in his mouth?
No. He's somebody who's worked with a lot of professional athletes. So
nice old, that's nice old-timey reference.
You know what that? I know what that specific drug was used for. Now I remember. That was the stuff they were injecting Ivan Drago with before his
BCP 157.
Yeah. Before his fight with Apollo Creed. Yeah, that's what they were.
Are you like? Well, obviously that's a fictitious movie anyway. But was that really what you remember that they were using?
No.
Oh, all right. All right.
Oh,
what is that stuff supposed to do?
It's a peptide. It's supposed
to mask the problems.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not a cortisone shot to make the pain go away. It is to repair the damage. It is something that will speed up the healing process and repair the damage.
That sounds like something that the wrestlers would probably want to take.
And I do think that prescribed steroids, properly given and taken, could be good for you. But the issue is when people get them either illegally or on the secondary market and are administering them on their own without following a true medical background on this thing, well, that's when you can get into some troubles.
All right. Well, we've kind of digressed off the topic, though. Coz, I want to let you have a chance here because you were almost as excited about WrestleMania as Matt was. Your thoughts about the event overall and what we saw transpire in Philadelphia.
It is remarkable to me that on the big pay events, but WrestleMania especially, that they can somehow wow me after all of these years. You figure that they by now have done about everything you can do. When you throw a guy off a cage years ago, you figure there's not much more you can do. I mean, how many variations of a guy can you get? But man, they do it. Every time they come up with a secret something, they come up with a new bit. They bring in the tag team event when they brought out one of the Dudley boys to be the ref. That was phenomenal. I'm a huge Dudley Boys guy. When The Rock is up there and he turns around, and if I'm mistaken, Matt, wasn't it Biker Undertaker? It was not, Man of Darkness Undertaker, was it?
The outfit was Biker Undertaker, but
which is Vince's least favorite bit he has ever done. In fact, I've heard a story that they hired a new writer. And some guys in the writing room said, "Hey, when you meet McMahon, tell him how great you like that Undertaker as a biker bit." That it really turned Vince upside down, and he got pissed. And the guy thought he was doing a good thing. And he said, "Hey, Mr. McMahon, I really like it when you turn him into a biker." He fired him out because the kid brought it up.
Whoa!
That's how much he hated that bit. Yeah, he fired the new writer on the spot.
Maybe the writer was set up. Maybe they wanted him out.
He was.
Well, and you know what?
Yeah, they set the poor guy up.
But see, here's the thing, and I'm sure maybe it was intended by McMahon and everything because it works so perfectly. And I'm going to dive into wrestling history that you guys both aren't going to be aware of. But basically, it was 2000. The Undertaker came onto the scene in '91 in his, dead man Undertaker character, right? Then in 2000,
with
2002,
Paul Bearer.
Right. Yes, Paul Bearer. So classic. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Literally. And then at some point, I believe it was in 2003, he changed to the American badass biker character.
Yep.
Then
I liked it. I liked her.
Then they had this big thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin at Survivor Series 2003, where Stone Cold was gonna be forced to retire if he lost this match. He ended up losing that match, and then the main event, that was the first main event. The second main event for that one was Vince McMahon versus The Undertaker at Survivor Series 2003 in a buried alive match. Okay. And so Vince McMahon comes out for his buried alive match with The Undertaker. Undertaker comes out, beats the shit out of Vince McMahon. I mean, it was great. But then right before he's gonna throw Vince McMahon into the grave, there's an explosion at the bulldozer where all the dirt is, and Kane comes out and helps Vince McMahon and buries The Undertaker alive, supposedly, which allows The Undertaker to then come back from the dead at WrestleMania, 5 months later, back as the Dead Man character. And he's been the Dead Man character for 20 years ever since.
That is good, wrestling knowledge.
That's good knowledge. Yeah, it's good secondary knowledge. But Undertaker is the mayor of Knox County here in Tennessee.
For real? He's a mayor?
No, Kane is. It's
Kane, his brother.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Taker's brother, Kane, is the mayor of Knox County, which encompasses Knoxville. True story.
That is awesome. All right, so WrestleMania, that we're all giving that A's across the board. I will honestly say, and I'm shocked I'm going to say this, I enjoyed WrestleMania more than, I'm not going to say that than the entire NCAA tournament, because the first 2 rounds are always awesome and never disappoint. But I enjoyed WrestleMania more than I enjoyed the Final Four and the championship.
Agreed.
No question.
Wow.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know what? I would probably have to. It is an amazing weekend of entertainment, of shock value entertainment, and I'll tell you something. The women's division has grown to a level that I could never imagine. Like in the beginning, I was a big Trish Stratus guy.
Stacey
and there was a
Keibler.
certain level. Exactly. There were huge celebrities, but they were mostly just smoke shows. And now, and they were good wrestlers. Don't get me wrong.
There's still smoke shows.
But the women wrestling,
there's still smoke shows. But yes.
Oh yeah, there are. But they can wrestle. Like,
Charlotte
Ric Flair's
Flair.
daughter.
Charlotte Flair can wrestle. Yeah.
Listen, all the divisions, but yeah, the women wrestlers now, I look at them, I agree with you, Coz. I think before it was more about the aesthetics, and now they're going for the aesthetics and the ability to actually be, physically imposing. So they've really grown the sport, and it's just amazing. And listen, that sport has not been without its own share of controversy. We know Vince McMahon has been in the headlines for a lot of negative reasons, and I don't really want to weigh in on that because I don't have inside information on any of that, but all I know is that in spite of all that, WrestleMania still is uber popular, and they're selling out 70,000 plus in Philly.
If you ever have a chance to go, I mean, it did come, I think it was 31, WrestleMania 31 did come to Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium. I went, and if you ever have a chance to go to WrestleMania, go. I mean, it is an amazing thing.
All right. With that, we are way past our top of the hour break, so we are going to we're going to step aside, and when we come back, we will continue on our list. It is Tuesday, so we'll have a Ordinary Calls Tuesday, and also there is a little bit of breaking news involving the movie world that I don't know if it's on Matt's list, but it happened while we were away, and I want to get your thoughts on that. So that's all I had. We'll continue with the Tuesday edition, hour of 2 of LFG coming your way after this timeout.
Levi, these are Mommy's coworkers. Can you say hi?
What's up, buddy? You looking fresh?
Hey, you look nice.
All right, give me a high five, buddy. Oh, too strong.
I bet you play football, right?
Yeah, and you go to school. That sucks. Do you wear your clothes to school?
Do you have no idea how to talk to children? Does it make you feel like a bad person that you can't? It's never too late to learn with new Duolingo for talking to children. The first foreign language app for grown people who need to learn how to talk to kids because their friends are starting to have them. Practice just 5 minutes a day and you'll be a brat whisperer in no time.
Very cool, bud. Very cool, bud. Chicken fingers. Chicken fingers. I like your backpack.
The one thing you know about talking to kids is you're not allowed to call girls pretty, but then it's like, what do you say?
You look not pretty. I mean, you're smart. I mean, you're an engineer one day.
Are you okay?
I got this. Just 1 second, sorry. Cool backpack.
Get a better sense of kids' ages.
Identify the 12-year-old. Correct.
Practice traditional greetings.
I've got your nose.
Build your stamina for long, meandering, pointless stories.
I really like the pizza they have too.
Cool.
In as little as 6 weeks, you'll be ready for all kinds of kinder conversations, like friend's new baby, the bus, dance recital, child falls on sidewalk in front of you, public restroom, airport gate, hot tub at vacation resort, and child wearing big pink dress. Let's face it, kids are bad conversationalists, but you don't have to be.
So I bet you like chicken fingers.
Hey, high five. Too slow.
Is this the last one?
Duolingo for talking to kids, also available in Your Dad.
Real men of genius.
Real man of genius.
Today, we salute you, Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Designer.
Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Designer.
While lesser designers would shy away from putting 300-pound men in spandex, you embrace it.
Yes, you do.
Pushing fashion to its limits, literally, you pair tights with a cape, a leotard with a mask, leather boots with a thong.
Oh, looking good.
All understated ways of saying, I'm going to rip your head off and look fabulous doing it. So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Guy, because without you, a man crushing another man's head in his arms would just look silly.
Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Design.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you ready? Let's do it. Live from the Tickscape Studios. Let's f***ing go.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the reunion tour of LFG. After 2+ weeks off on our hiatus, we are all back and bigger and better than ever. And Bisa is also back. And Bisa's dropping news for us, actual sports news that we should probably address since it's breaking today. I haven't seen this, guys.
Yeah,
have you guys?
I just watched it. This is I can't tell if I just want to laugh at this or if I think somebody's going to make some money off of this. If we're referring to the same thing, Nikola Jokic's brother just cold cocked somebody last night.
Woo!
Game 2. I mean, it is clear as day. I mean, that is now. I don't know if that's his brother. I'm assuming it is because I don't think they would make that up, and that'd be very easily disprovable. But wow. The caption says, taking a punch from Nikola Jokic's brother should get you a Purple Heart. I'm inclined to agree. Okay. That is those
Yeah,
Serbians
this is
around.
on Twitter. Barstool Sports retweeted it. It's got over 1 million views already. This is I don't know. Listen, you don't want to mess around with the Jokic brothers. That has already been well documented after that whole incident.
Man, what?
Yeah. Coz is now seeing it in real time. If you haven't seen it, we'll get. I don't know if Bisa's already retweeted it. She probably already has. But that's not good. That's not good.
The guy. I'm sorry. I'll jump in a sec. Go ahead, Dave.
Your brother is the 2-time MVP, maybe about to become a 3rd-time MVP, going for his second NBA title. And I don't know, is that Jokic's wife in the red holding? Because I know he has a baby girl.
That's what I was wondering.
You know, so
Yeah.
so is all this taken?
Because
I don't know if
the
that.
little baby's got the Yoke jersey on.
Yeah, I don't know if that. There's a decent chance that that's Jokic's wife that is next to the brothers. And listen, the NBA is not. That's not a good look for the NBA. That is not a good look for anybody. The NBA, if that really is his brothers, the NBA is going to crack down on that, and that's not a distraction that the Denver Nuggets need. They're up 2-0, but the last 2 minutes of that game last night against the Lakers were very entertaining. LeBron
Yeah,
was.
but you know what? Sorry, Will. Hold on.
No, go ahead,
First, you
Coach.
got this situation where a brother's punching a guy in the face, and then a player gets suspended for life because he was in cahoots with gamblers and he was faking up his numbers and
Jonte Porter,
so he could get out of games.
Well, by the
know
way,
what?
did you see the other
that
news?
league has a lot of problems.
Did you see
Pardon
the
me?
other news? How about the week that Michael Porter Jr. had? His brother Jonte gets banned from the NBA for life. And then a couple days later, his brother gets convicted to go to jail after a DUI. Like, that is a
wait, same brother, same guy?
No, another brother. So his
okay.
two brothers, one gets banned from the NBA for life, and the other's going to jail for DUI.
Hashtag bad week.
Wow.
I mean,
Yep.
that's you know what?
But that
that's,
league's got a lot of problems, and how it is, what's going on with that league? What is going on? And again, I don't know what the guy said to get punched in the face. I don't know. That league has got a lot of bad publicity, man, and I don't know how it is they get to skate the way they do.
You know, the thing is, I mean, the guy probably said something. I'm not saying it was deserving.
Well,
that he
clearly
got
the guy
punched in the
said
face.
something, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can't be going and punching, especially your brothers. Where is your self-control?
That guy, I'm just gonna say this. That guy is probably a little. The only thing I'll say that guy is probably a little bit happy that he got punched in the face by Jokic's brother. I'm just gonna say that.
I will say the guy took the punch and it was nothing. Get that guy a roll in Rocky 27. He can take a punch right there.
Crushed. He
Oh,
got crushed.
man.
He got hit pretty good. There's no
Oh.
question about that.
Did
but
Jokic's brother
it's
and Ivan
ridiculous.
Drago train together?
By the way, I just thought of something that could have made WrestleMania in Philadelphia even better.
Well, Jason Kelsey was there.
No, would have been had to have Sylvester Stallone should have made an appearance.
Oh, he should have.
How good would that have been?
As Rocky too. I mean,
That would have been phenomenal.
Not that they didn't crush it, because they did, but that would have been even more insane to have Rocky Balboa show up.
There was speculation that the Undertaker's role was supposed to be Stone Cold, and that they couldn't come to an agreement with Stone Cold. Did you see that, Matt? That move was supposed to be.
I did see that, and you know what? As much as I love the Undertaker, and he is probably at this point the second most popular character ever. The first is Stone Cold, and if the
Stone
glass
Cold's
breaks,
the most popular.
Yes. Once that glass breaks and the fans hear it, I mean they go nuts, and I do think that is a disservice, and that is a mistake by the writers to not just because WWE is not hurting for money. Just throw whatever, give them $1 million. It just for that would have been the best thing for Stone Cold to make an appearance.
Top 5 all-time WWE wrestlers, Matt, go in order.
In order 5 to 1,
Or 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Okay, well, whatever. I would say. Let's see. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and oh man, I don't know who the 5th one would be.
It doesn't matter what you think is the 5th one.
The Rock.
You're
Yeah, The
wrong.
Rock.
You're so far off on your list of 5. Ric Flair is the undisputed number greatest wrestler in the history
Stop.
of
No,
the sport.
stop,
Ric
stop.
Flair is by far the Rock is in the discussion.
How about
I think Hulk-
how about Andre the Giant? Didn't he have a seat at the
Nah.
table?
Andre the Giant's famous for losing. That's what he's famous for. He's famous for losing to Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he was. The Rocky movie also made Hulk what he was, and Hulk with a belt, right, Matt? He whipped the belt.
Yeah. Well, see, Hulk. I wasn't alive in Hulk's heyday, okay, but Hulk did a really good, like in terms of like, there's no WrestleMania without Hulk Hogan, so you have to have him on the Mount Rushmore. I will tell you why I don't have Ric Flair on that Mount Rushmore, Jim. And I really
and it's a discussion. Doesn't matter. So go ahead.
I really it doesn't matter because we can only hear like the fifth word you're saying anyway. So, but the Ric Flair.
I do have an idea, Coz. We'll sort it out after the show. We're just gonna have to power through.
Ric Flair, he didn't do any high flying moves and anything. I mean, he said woo all the time. That's and then he does the 4-figure leg lock and he was running around with the women. But in terms of, I just don't understand why he's considered one of the greatest of all time. I really don't. I just don't. He didn't have.
I know that's because you don't understand.
I mean,
he was the best performer. You don't have to be a champion on the ring, and he would own the ring even when he didn't have the belt. That's how great he was. When he made that walk down the ramp.
Stop. You are telling me that he was a better performer than Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just telling you.
No,
Ric Flair was a pretty good performer. You know who else I liked? I'm not saying he belongs in the top anything, but I just know as a kid, and I think he was kind of a villain and not really well liked. But I always the few times I put wrestling on and he was on, I would watch whatever that's worth. Is I liked Roddy Piper.
Oh yeah. Roddy's
Sure.
good.
You're going back to the old days.
Yeah.
So I was a Kurt Angle guy. Like
You were a Kurt
thought
Angle guy?
Was the next version of Flair, but Angle, unfortunately had some issues and it didn't last as long as it should have. But he was the next version of Flair. He was better as a bad.
Wait. You're telling me Kurt Angle was the next version of Flair?
Yeah.
No.
Easily.
No.
Easily. He was such a great bad, and he was so great on the microphone.
All right. Well,
That's the key to what Flair was.
To me, well, no, I agree with you there. Well, that's the key to what everybody is. You gotta be able to cut good promos if you're a wrestler. But I'm sorry,
But no one could do what Flair could do.
Well, okay, from a promo standpoint, fine. But from an in-ring ability standpoint, I think from an in-ring performance standpoint, I think Shawn Michaels is number one. You can't really.
That could be.
That
could be.
But anyway, it's just it's a good discussion to have, and it's funny that we're a sports show and we're talking about WrestleMania.
Well, because it happened while we were gone. All right, we need to move on because there are a lot of other topics. The other big topic, Matt, and I don't know where this is on your list, but I do think we need to before we run out of time. And Coz, because of your mic issues, I think we're going to push ordinary calls to tomorrow or Thursday because having you cut out all the time isn't going to make a lot of sense. So the other big story though is Shohei Ohtani. And I'm curious what your thoughts on this are, because now they've come out and basically said, yeah, he's a victim of crime. And listen, that if that's really what everything is, that's terrible. And if you want to come up with your own opinions for how did he not know and how does this happen, of course everybody's going to say that. But they've come out and they're pressing charges against his interpreter. And it looks like, Shohei was completely unaware of all of it and did nothing wrong. The only thing I'm going to say about that is if that really is what happened, it's very convenient for Major League Baseball that is what happened and that there's nothing more to it, that there is no fire associated with any smoke linking Shohei Ohtani to any of this.
Well, I will say this. Dave, is the feds are not gonna just appease Major League Baseball. If the feds think there's something going on, I mean, it's not just, the director of the FBI is not going to call Rob Manfred. But okay, how you want me to spin this? No. I will eat my words. I was convinced the
I don't
show.
know. I don't know about that.
No, we're not.
I'll
We're
be pretty honest with you. I don't
we're
trust the
not,
FBI.
we're not going down this conspiracy theory road. We can only be here till noon. So
All right.
I said that Shohei Ohtani, I thought that he was really guilty for with betting on games, but I will say that I was completely wrong. And here's my stance on it now. My stance now is, I think Shohei is just one of these people. He's earning so much money. His mind is one-track baseball. And since he was earning so much money, he just the fraud was enabled because of that. But here is where, and this is what Shohei needs to do. I mean, they came out and they said that his interpreter simply, because I mean, I had raised questions and we had raised questions. Okay, how does this money get wired? His interpreter was simply calling the bank, not going down to the bank, calling the bank and impersonating Shohei. So, and it said it was a domestic financial institution. I don't know who it is, but whoever is handling Shohei Ohtani's account needs to be fired. Because you shouldn't be able to just impersonate somebody over the phone. That's a big problem on the bank. It's the bank's fault this happened.
Shouldn't we know what that bank is then, Matt? Do we know what the bank is?
We don't, and believe me, if we did, if it was Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, whatever it was, if they came out with it.
Why don't we know?
Well, because
don't we know? Because the FBI's keep it quiet?
Because what they probably don't want to do is they don't want all their high net worth individuals that have accounts at that bank to be worried about which I understand. I get it. But I mean,
I'm telling you, it ain't a conspiracy. I'm telling you, it's just the way they do business.
Okay. So I think, there needs to be, Shohei needs to talk to some lawyers and because this is the bank's fault. This is the bank's fault. They should not have been able to. I mean, listen, I get it if it was, okay, maybe if it was
At least
$1 million.
Shohei didn't know anything about it. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, according to everything I'm saying, Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, he actually set up the accounts on Shohei's behalf. So if he set up the accounts and he was signed as an authorized, if he was at the very beginning of the start of the accounts,
Because if he was signed as an authorized user, he wouldn't have to impersonate. He could say, because he's legally allowed to transfer that money if he's signed
but
and
he was
authorized.
still doing it without Shohei's permission. At the end of the day, it was still Shohei's money.
No, but they said he was impersonating Shohei. That's what they said. They didn't say he was calling as a signed authorized person. I agree with you, that would still be wrong, but they were saying that he was impersonating Shohei. So this is the bank's fault. Maybe $1 million in mistakes, sure. $16 million, no.
Yeah.
No,
By the way, when the story broke, we all thought it was like 4, right? And we were like, wow, $4.5 million or whatever it was. It was $16 million, which is unbelievable. But at the end of the day, Major League Baseball, Matt, you may be right. There's going to be people who are going to say, no way, there's no way it's this clean, and that it's too convenient that Major League Baseball has getting its star player, out from under any problems with this, and everybody's moving on, nothing to see here. That may very well be the case. I honestly have no idea. I'll just say it's really convenient for Shohei. It's convenient for the Dodgers, and it's convenient for baseball if that's how it plays out. I shouldn't say it's convenient for Shohei because Shohei did lose $16 million on it.
Yeah, Dave, what are you talking about? This is really convenient for Shohei. That's why I'm saying, he needs to try to recoup this through other channels because this shouldn't have happened. This is in my uninformed, non-lawyer opinion. But if we all can, this is just negligence by the bank. They shouldn't have let this happen. Because if the bank doesn't let him, if the bank doesn't believe that he's Shohei Ohtani, I'm sorry, it should be pretty easy to verify who somebody is.
I want to know Coz thinks. Coz, are you buying that? Is this the end of this story? Are you buying that it's as clean cut as being put out?
I'm not buying it's the end of the story. I'm buying that it's the end of us. I do that there are forces that get in the way of the legitimate story. There is no reason we shouldn't know what bank is the one that the Otani group was, right? There's no reason we know what $16 million in for the paid. It should even be part of the legal bookie who was taking the. He was probably thinking, yeah, I've got an easy payday because I've got an in with Otani's guy who has his money. But I'd like to know where all of that money was gambled, what it was on, and why.
Well,
transfers. When was the last time you did a phone transfer?
Well, yeah. I mean, phone wire transfers. You know what? I think I did one once, and it was like for like $400, and it was. Listen, I did a wire transfer for $400 one time to my own account at another bank, and they had me on the phone for 75 minutes verifying stuff.
75 minutes. That seems a little bit hard to believe.
No, I'm not kidding, because
I don't trust anything, so I agree with you. I would surmise that you are not lying to me.
I don't think Matt's lying. I just think he's not really 75. Although I have been on banks. I have been on calls with many companies that you get the runaround. I like very Cliff Notes version of the story. Verizon owes me like $120 from when I changed phone providers.
That's a lot of money.
And yeah, it's a lot of money. But Coz, every time I call, it's a 2-hour phone call, and okay, we're gonna send this up to have it reviewed. They'll be in touch within 5 business days. 5 business days go. I don't get a call back. Then I got to call back and go through the whole 2 hours again. I've done this 3 times. I've invested probably 6 hours of trying to get $120 back from them. And I think basically the corporate policy, and that's not only Verizon, it's other companies, is, you know what? Screw them. Let them keep calling. Eventually they're going to give up. We're keeping that $120.
I agree with you, and that's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah.
For a much smaller amount of money. And they always maintain that there's a transfer issue, and it's one department saying it's the other department, and that department says, no, department. It's I don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Don't.
Anyway,
Please.
all right, listen, we're
okay,
up. Matt, I think we should hit the bottom of the hour break, unless you got something you
yes.
need to add here.
No, let's hit the bottom of the hour break, and then we'll continue on the list afterwards.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we will. I'm going to break the news about the new movie that is coming out. The news that broke over the weekend, and see if you guys are excited about that. And we'll see what else Matt has on his list of things that happened while we were away for the 2 weeks. Final segment of LFG coming your way after this quick timeout.
Behind you mystify.
Bud Light presents Real Men of
Matt,
Genius.
I'm just going to play 2 of these, and then we'll come back with the update.
Today we salute you, Mr. Pro Football Coach Cord Carrier.
Mr. Pro Football Coach Cord Carrier.
During high-pressure game situations, one man has to make the call, and another man has to follow him around like a dog with 200 feet of electrical cord.
You carry the cord.
You weave your way down the sidelines, passing linemen like they're standing still. Because they are.
Excuse me, Bubba.
One missed step, and you've got a tangled coach and a sharp blow to the head from a clipboard.
Oh!
But do you wear a helmet? No, sir.
No.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Cord Guy, because the quarterback may be carrying the team, but you're carrying the team's cord.
Mr. Pro Football Coach Cord Carrier.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Losing Locker Room Reporter.
Mr. Losing Locker Room Reporter.
Wherever a semi-naked man is crying like a schoolgirl because he lost a ball game, you are there.
So sad, too bad now.
Why did they lose? Because some millionaire dropped the ball. A millionaire who needs a mic stuck in his face on national television. Go ahead, wear your cashmere blazer to work. No one's going to pour champagne on it where you're going. So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, oh bringer of bad news. You're not a big loser. You just interview them.
Don't wanna talk about it.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the bottom of the hour, or close enough. Time for your Tickscape Studios Sports Update with Matt Fowler.
LSU running back John Emery Jr., former top 15 recruiter, saw the field in spurts with the Tigers under the LSU transfer portal Tuesday as a graduate student. He is the number 11th overall recruit in the 2019 class and had 1,062 career rushing yards with 14 touchdowns with the Tigers, starting with 5 games and appearing in 37. He saw his most extensive action in 2021 and 2022, logging 75 and 76 rushing attempts. For all the latest news and updates, tune in to LFG on all streaming platforms with Dave Benz, Jim Kozimor, and myself. Now back to the reunion of LFG. Ha ha ha.
What? Okay, I don't know if if the laugh thing is gonna work, but we'll talk about that later. I think you need a.
What's with the laugh? What is that representing?
He feels like he needs a tagline for his sports update.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
By the way, and I love you. You promoted yourself now to one of the co-hosts.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you're like with Dave Ben, Jim Kozimor, and myself, and then you leave Bisa out in the cold. Like, Bisa deserves something, but Bisa is what makes this show go. More than
you know what? You're right, Dave. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. And myself, Jim Kozimor, and Dave Benz, and our fabulous intern Bisa here on LFG.
Did you see what he did there, Coz?
Yes.
He put himself first. So it's the Matt Fowler Show, but folks, welcome to the Matt Fowler Show.
Shut up.
LFG is going to become like MDJ. You know, Matt, Dave, and
goodness.
Jim.
Yeah, MDJ.
Matt, MBDJ.
I'm just
Matt,
trying
Bisa, Dave, and Jim.
I'm just trying
That's
to
the new network, by the way.
include everybody. All I'm trying to do is include everybody. You guys are being
Look how
mean.
inclusive you are.
It's so amazing.
All about inclusivity.
Yeah, it's all about the inclusivity. All right, so I teased this, guys. The news, and Matt, we'll get back to your list, but the news that got my attention over the weekend was, and maybe it was, I don't know if it was the weekend or last week, but Adam Sandler, it's gotten leaked. It's been talked about for a long time. Guys, they're making a Happy Gilmore sequel.
Oh, my God.
How can you do it? How can you do it? How? How can you do that?
Well,
you know what? All right. Let me real quick. I just because it's been so long, and they know how priceless Happy Gilmore is. I think this is actually going to be good. They're not going to want to screw this up.
Well, obviously, Happy's going to be on the senior tour, and Happy and Shooter are going to be on the senior tour, right? I mean, that's got to be the bit.
When does this drop? When does this drop, Dave?
I don't know that they put out a date. All I know is that it was released on what's the guy's name who plays Shooter McGavin? It's Michael something. Michael and the guy there is an actual Shooter McGavin Twitter feed.
Christopher McDonald.
Christopher McDonald. That's it. Yeah. So it got leaked via him that they are working on it. That they are working on. I don't know if that means that they're working on the script or they're working on, getting the production going. But it has been green lighted, and they are going to have a Happy Gilmore 2. And I personally can't wait to see.
Here's the problem. The problem, though, is rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Rest in peace, Bob Barker. Rest in peace, Joe Flaherty. You got so many key pieces to the film who are gone. Are they going to just pay homage to them?
Yes.
In some way, shape, or form?
Yes,
Are they going to have
they did
people
mention
play
that.
those roles?
They did mention that. They did say, we've lost a lot of people who were important with the movie, and they will be appropriately honored in the sequel.
Is Julie Bowen going to make an appearance in this film?
Is Julie married to Happy, and are there little Happies running around?
That could be. That could be. I
She
had
was
a
the
real
PR
crush
exec.
on
She
young
was the,
Julie
she was the
Bowen.
PR exec in the first one.
Yeah. That was prior to, what was it? Was it Modern Family that she was on after that?
She was a huge hit in Modern Family. She made bank. She's been good. She was in Ed. She was in Ed. I don't know if you remember that. It was an NBC sitcom about a guy who goes back to his hometown and runs a bowling alley. She was super cute in that. But then Modern Family is where she really made bank.
But Happy Gilmore was really kind of the thing that launched it for her, right?
Yeah, I think that was one of her first roles. There was another role of a movie, and it, you know what, I could probably look it up. But there's another role that she had. She has had a very long and illustrious career.
Well, I can't imagine that she wouldn't be in the sequel. I don't know how you would not have her in. So, you know, the
price
three
is wrong, bitch.
Yeah, the three people that have to be in the sequel are obviously Happy, Shooter, probably Julie Bowen, and also I don't know, is the you know you're gonna miss that putt, jackass. Is that guy still?
Yeah, Joe Flaherty just passed away within the last 2 months.
Oh, that's who it was. Okay, so he won't be in it.
The great SCTV alum.
Yeah, hopefully he's being
so
honored
he's
somewhere
out.
at the Red Lobster, which I hear the Red Lobster's now filing for bankruptcy on a side.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Too many free shrimp nights at the Red Lobster. That's what they're blaming, by the way. The all-you-can-eat shrimp. They're blaming the all-you-can-eat shrimp for taking out Red Lobster.
It's like 10 cents for the. No, stop.
Yeah, they're saying that the all-you-can-eat shrimp.
What's your operating cost on shrimp?
I don't know. Have you
God.
ever seen the people that go to the Red Lobster?
Broken down that stuff.
Yeah, there's people who take advantage of that. Then they go next door to the Golden Corral for the follow-up.
I went to Bubba Gump Shrimp with my girlfriend in the city, and that was
You did, big spender.
I'm a big spender for going to Bubba Gump's. That's
nothing but the best. By the way, Vern Lundquist has to make another appearance in Happy Gilmore.
He does have to make another appearance.
But my guess is Jim Nance will get the job. That's my guess. Dan Patrick will probably have a role.
Well, yeah, because Dan is tight with Adam.
They need to get Kevin Harlan in there.
And Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen is in that whole hemisphere too. So, anyways, I'm genuinely excited about that. I hope it doesn't disappoint.
I don't think.
Will Jessica Gunn make an appearance in this one?
I don't know.
Do you know what her role was in this movie?
Who was Jessica Gunn?
The woman, Happy Gilmore signed a woman's chest.
Oh, yeah.
It was her chest.
Okay.
Jessica Gunn, everybody.
All right, Jessica.
Was that the old one or the young one? Because he signed 2 chests.
That's a good point. That's
right.
good
This
Happy
was
Gilmore
at the
knowledge.
time younger.
That's good. This has to be the
right?
younger one. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So there's my breaking news of what I was excited about while we were away. Matt, what else do you have on your list? We got about 20 minutes left in the show. Although we can end anytime we want today because we're on our own stream.
All right. Well, I do want to end the show on a happy note. Happy, haha. Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I think we all got that one, Matt.
Yeah. All right. I do want to end the show on a happy note. So I'll save the last one for a feel good thing. But I do think, unfortunately, we do have to mention O.J. Simpson died.
You had to go there, Matt. You had to go there.
Well, Dave, what do we? I mean,
no,
I know. We are a sports show, Dave, and so I don't think it would be right if we just didn't bring that up.
I don't know how it made you guys feel. I felt so. Conflicted is probably the right word because I didn't know how I was supposed to feel about O.J. Simpson dying. On one hand, the guy is a double homicide, unconvicted but clearly guilty, killing 2 people in cold blood. So the guy, I agree with what Ron Goldman's father said, good riddance or whatever he was, goodbye, good riddance. So people like that, I'm not sympathetic to him being gone, but at the same time, it's kind of like, wow, like that's a big name, and that was such such a moment in time that I don't think any of us will forget where we were when that Bronco chase happened. Those of us who were old enough to be kind of aware of life. So it just really was a weird piece of news to digest. That was kind of how I took that.
I think it's, there usually somebody passes away. I don't think there was anyone who had that thought happened, and it was just a ridiculous, that scenario was just mind-blowing on how it happened, how it went down, and how he lived his life the rest of the way, that it's almost like I had emotion when O.J. Simpson passed away. I had zero emotion of that. That's how I felt horrible for the situation. I felt more horrible for the Goldman family, who had to, this had to get dredged up one more time, as if your pain isn't there every day. It was even more. So, yikes, this was, and to go back and to hear he was a guest on shows and he would be laughing about the incident, the fact that he wrote a book was called Did It, it was just calamitous. You hate to say and feel bad about certain things, but boy, it's easy to say something bad about O.J. Simpson.
Well, and, in my opinion, and I'm going to sound, a little bit like a hypocrite when I say this, but, so we're a sports show. That's why I brought it up. I feel like we, needed to talk about it. But I was watching SportsCenter when they were talking about it, and it was gross, because the first thing they did was talk about his athletic accomplishments. And then they went, well, and obviously there was, and I'm sorry. There's just certain things, very few things. Double murder would be one of them, but very few things overshadow, something like that, in terms of an athlete that great. I don't care. I don't care that he ran for 2,000 yards. I don't care that he won the Heisman. I just don't care. It doesn't matter. And they tried to pay homage to his accomplishment. The man killed 2 people. I don't care that they found him not guilty in the O.J. Documentary. Ironically, with ESPN, they interviewed the jurors and they all said, they came up with a verdict there was an 8-month trial and they came up with a verdict in 2 hours. And then they admit that they did it because of the racial tensions and this and that. And that's just not right. And, it's just gross. We can move on. We don't have to talk about it anymore, but I just figured we'd be remiss if we didn't mention it. But yeah, here's the difference between us and ESPN. You guys can say different if you want, but I really don't care about the athletic accomplishments. I really don't care.
No, they're meaningless.
Yeah.
And then I'm a little bit trying to bring up something tongue in cheek because it's such a serious and unpleasant story, but I'm kind of a little bit serious about this. Like he also gave us the curse of the Kardashians, because if the OJ trial never happens, then Robert Kardashian never becomes famous, and the whole keeping up with the Kardashians probably never happens, and we would never have had to deal with that. And I'm obviously not a fan of the show. So there you go.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. All right. I'll make an executive decision, an executive producer decision that Jim is going to be extremely happy with.
You're an executive producer now? You went from
you're the producer. You're definitely not the executive producer. Wow, he's giving himself promotions.
2 weeks we weren't on the air.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Technically, when we might explain it at some point later this week, but technically speaking, because we're our own stream right now, I am the executive producer because it's our own show. So, or maybe Dave, you can take on the role of host and executive producer if you want that title. But anyway, point is, I'm making a decision to go with.
I don't want any titles. I want no titles. But I know you're giving yourself
Yeah, I want no
titles.
titles.
It's just like I don't know. You Matt, you go ahead and put that on your resume if that's what you want to put on your resume. You go for it.
and then oh, by the way, Bisa is now an associate producer. By the way, I'm upgrading Bisa from intern to associate producer because she has done so much.
Be
Don't you
executive
agree?
producer.
Bisa deserves a better title than just intern.
She's unbelievable.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So the last story, which we're gonna bring up to end the show, Jim. This is gonna be your favorite topic. Caitlin Clark got a $28 million deal from Nike, and I'm sorry, that's big news. Because when the hell was the last time that a woman got a deal that big for sports for her accomplishments in sports? I mean that, and I think it's deserved because of. I mean, I don't know if you saw that the women's national championship in terms of ratings and how many millions watched it outdid the men for I think the first time ever. That's a big deal.
There's a little bit of it in that the game was on ABC and ESPN, which I think are whereas this game has one channel watch quite as much. It's incredible. The women's game had what the number was that went to the women's game. I was more intrigued by the draft, and she goes number one, and then the next day, her low salary of $122,000 a year, of which the league plays a month. But I found that intriguing that they didn't money she's going her personal deals like this. So, I'm a fan of hers, but I think the jump to the WNBA is really going to benefit from all this. We'll have to wait and see. Are you going to sit and watch? Well, first of all, can you name 5? Take New York out of it. Take Indiana out of it. They're Indiana, the number one pick. New York as a team. WNBA teams?
I did not hear the question. I don't think most people did. Coz, your mic has gotten progressively worse as we've gone on. You know what I'm thinking? Coz, why don't you call in? Why don't you call Matt on your phone for the last 10 minutes of the show? And let's see. And Matt, bring up Coz's audio that way. And let's do that. And
because
then
that's actually I do want to hear your.
I want to hear.
I want to hear that again.
Yeah, we didn't hear much of that. And I have a suspicion of what your mic issue is. So once we end the stream, we'll stay on and hopefully we can sort it out. But if you call in, let's see if Matt can magically make Coz appear via the phone. He did not call, by the way, 622-629-548.
1 second. All right, let's see.
You don't have the Bluetooth connected to the Roadcaster right now, do you?
Got it.
Okay.
I got it.
All right, Coz, you're there.
All right, how's it going? Hey, can you, aside from Indiana, who had the number one pick, and New York, because the Liberty were there from day one, can you name 5 WNBA teams?
In existence, or does it matter?
Seattle, the Seattle Storm. Connecticut has a team. I can't.
Their name?
No, but then there's the Las Vegas Aces.
Okay.
I think Dallas now has a team, but I don't know what their name is. But they're new. I know that the Bay Area is getting a team. Let's see, Chicago, the Chicago Sky, the Atlanta.
That one.
Is it the Atlanta Dream?
Well, I have no idea, but I'll give that to you.
I think it's the Atlanta Dream.
The Washington, the
Washington Mystics. No, Washington Mystics.
Wait a minute, Matt's reading.
I am
Matt
not.
Looked it up.
I am not. Why?
Matt's actually looking at his screen, reading the name.
Yeah, he totally is cheating. He's totally cheating.
I am not.
You got so busted, Matt. You got the guilt look all over your face right now.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah.
But the point is, I think the leap to, wow, the WNBA is going to become mainstream, or the pain of discussion that we had regarding the salary of Caitlin Clark versus the salary of the NBA's number 1 pick. Come on, guys. The two leagues make completely different incomes.
You're completely you're completely right on that. No, the people that are wanting to say, oh, they should. They're the same people. They're the same people that say, well, Steph Curry's making $48 million. Why can't we pay our teachers more? They're the same people that are saying that are now saying we should pay Caitlin Clark more. And you know what? I think Caitlin Clark even understands because Caitlin Clark is smart, and I think she gets it. And and she's not going to care because she's got I think they said it was a 4-year deal, so she's got or a 5-year deal, so like $4 million a year coming in from Nike. I mean, good for her. That's great.
Exactly. I mean, that's a success, but everyone wants to complain about the differentiation between the salaries of the two leagues. Well, let's talk about the income of the two leagues. Let's talk about the interest of the two leagues.
$11 billion the NBA brought in, I believe it was last year, and the WNBA brought in $180 million, by the way, which was, by the way, subsidized by the NBA.
Well, I didn't even know that because I thought the NBA was actually trying to remove itself, not disown, but just remove itself and let the WNBA be a standalone league.
Well, I actually, you know what? Let me. I haven't. I just know that that's the way it's been done for the longest time. Maybe they recently have changed it. I don't know.
Yeah. So and let me point out, this instantly becomes Matt's crapping on the WNBA. No, Matt's not crapping on the WNBA. He's having a same.
Not at all.
This is the one thing that I hope comes out of all of this. Is we can only see the women's game grow if you allow us to talk about the women's game the way we talk about the men's game. We debate whether LeBron is better than Michael. We have to be able to debate whether Caitlin Clark is better than Diana Taurasi or whatever the discussion version has to be. Can she be the GOAT? Well, she didn't win a title. Well, does that take – I got to be able to have that discussion. If I can't have that discussion, you will never grow as a league. The end.
There you go.
You're welcome. Drop mic. I'd drop my mic if it was working.
Listen. Here's what I will say, and I will say this, and I'm totally being honest. So, the Bay Area is getting a WNBA team next year. So on a Friday night when the Indiana Fever are in town, when I have infinite amount of options of entertainment to appease me for the weekend, I will go.
What are those? Wait a minute. What are those options that you have? You no longer have the green and gold to kick around. I've got news for you, buddy. You no longer have those Oakland A's to kick around starting next year.
I know.
He can always go down to the Embarcadero and see in time how long it takes for him to see somebody urinate in public.
Yeah, that's also true.
Zing!
I can do that, or I can go to one of the many bars in San Francisco. But I will not do any of those things.
And then Matt will leave the bar and be the person who's winning that contest.
Exactly. But I will not do any of those options because I will be at Chase Center sitting courtside watching Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever take on whoever the Bay Area WNBA team is. I will buy tickets. I will buy good tickets. I will go.
You will go? Are you really going to go?
I will.
Wow, good for you. Congratulations. I think that's good that you'll go.
I will only go if I'm getting paid to go.
No, I know where that's leading to. I know where that's leading to.
Dave, you're a jerk.
I will only go if I'm getting paid to go. If I'm not getting paid to go, I'm not interested. Sorry, just not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, if I had a daughter and she wanted to go, that'd be a different story.
I want to throw my hand to that ring too. I'll go if I'm getting paid to go, for the record.
You just said you would pay to go.
No, I would pay to go, but I will also go if I'm getting paid.
Okay.
Both things can be true.
All right.
I will tell you this: you want to find a way to get people involved, give them a broadcast job. I knew guys who used to crap all over the WNBA. Then one day I'd say, "Hey, you know what? We need a substitute in the pregame show. You want to do it?" Next thing you know, they're singing the praises of that league like it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody who's paying your check, it's as long as the money's green, baby. As long as the money's
Yep.
green, then we're all going to be happy.
Bitch,
Yep.
stay in this ballgame.
dude, you have got to do that. Yeah, you know what? I want to apply for a WNBA job just to use that line. I swear to you. Now I'm rooting for the league to succeed. Bitch, stay in this game.
I can't think. I can't think of a better way to wrap up our return show. Let's bring in Bisa
That was
really
another
quick.
bit. I wanted to do another bit today, which is play all of our sounders.
I mean, I think
I could do all of our sounders. I could. That's easy.
I mean, wait a sec, Jim. I think you'd get fired if you said, "Bitch, stay in this game" on the air. I think you would.
Then I would just say, look, that's exactly what the old Florida coach said on the air. Then nobody fired her.
And they will.
Bisa, isn't that right, Bisa? I could say that.
And they will nod and still fire you.
All right, all right. I have. You want me to roll through the sounders? I've got the sounders.
Yeah. We got to remind everyone. What did we do?
All right. Well, here's the. This, of course, was this one. I don't think we've played. I think I put this one together since we were while we were on the break. But this is our buddy Matt talking about his favorite college basketball team, the Wolfpack.
Oh, I'm not hearing that bummer because I'm not on the system.
I'm not hearing that either.
Oh, that's not going out? All right, wait. I
No,
could play that
yeah.
another way. Hold on. I can. Hold on. I'm going. I didn't know I was going to have to do this on the fly, but I can text that to myself. Actually, I sent that on the text chain, right? I sent it on the text chain way back when. I don't know how far back.
I believe you did.
Yeah.
No. Bisa did.
No.
Bisa-
I was the one who created it. I was the one who created the link.
Oh, okay.
So I was the one who would have sent it.
Live radio, people.
Yeah, well, we're doing live radio. We just want to get Matt. Matt said Wolfpack many times rather than Wolfpack. Here we go. All right, I've got it. Here we go.
Timberwolves.
Yeah, we got that one. Here
We
we
got
go.
to talk about the Timberwolves playoff win.
Yeah, I'll play that one next. Here's Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. Wolfpack. Wolfpack. Wolfpack.
And
You
then
suck.
And then we've got the here's the other ones of Matt.
Timberwolves. Timberwolves.
I got Timberwolves. I'm just trying to pull. Here we go. Here's the clips. Okay, here's the Timberwolves. Here's Matt talking about
Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves.
Dude, we got to do our Timberwolves update. There's a lot of news going on with them. Your boy Anthony Edwards is setting the world on fire, and then they're going to arbitration over who owns the team.
Yeah, that's going to happen on May 1st. You know who I'm rooting for in that side.
Yeah, I know. I am too.
So that'll be May 1st. That'll be a big day. Timberwolves play the Phoenix Suns in Game 2 tonight. So I will be watching that, and I will be watching the national broadcast feed, or maybe I'll watch the Suns feed.
I was just
you know
gonna
what?
ask you that.
I'm going to watch my buddy Kevin Ray tonight. I'm going to watch our friend Kevin Ray tonight, Coase. We'll watch Kevin Ray.
That's good. That's solid. That's a good move. He's a good man. They've got a good show. He works with Eddie Johnson, who I saw hit one of the biggest shots up until that point for the Houston Rockets. He hit a huge three to win a game. Ran off the court. The great Eddie Johnson.
Eddie Johnson is fantastic.
I am talking, damn it.
There's the other Matt.
I am talking, damn it.
What else do I have on here? I need to upload some more of these.
That's a good one. I like that one a lot better.
Yeah, that's all right. That's about all I've got for now. So anyway, Bisa, your thoughts on getting a? Would you like to be referred to as associate producer? The pay is exactly the same as what you're making now, but if you'd like to be referred to as associate producer, we'll go ahead and authorize that promotion from Matt.
Okay. Yeah, use it on your LinkedIn. Do that. Use it on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, put it on your LinkedIn. You are now the associate producer for LFG. So
yeah, and head of content, right? Shouldn't she be associate producer / head of content?
She should be. Well, yes, but the title should be associate producer / social media manager.
Digital marketing coordinator.
Yeah. Oh, yep. That's better.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Digital marketing coordinator. There we go.
All
right.
That's good.
That's a
put
nice,
it on your LinkedIn.
That's a nice long title that you can put on your resume.
All right. So we've reached the top of the hour. Guys, let's just end the show here. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have our Hump Day handles, and maybe we'll do ordinary calls, and we'll talk about the NFL draft. That's all ahead. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
We're doing the Bisa dance. Everyone's doing the Bisa dance.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing the Bisa dance.